Take a deep breath in. As you breathe in a resourceful feeling of calm and relaxation. And as you exhale, just relax those eyelids. And on your outward breath, just close your eyes. As your eyes close, feel that you're falling into a state of deep relaxation. As you breathe in slower than you normally would. And as you exhale, elongate the breath to make it longer than it normally would be. And notice, the deeper you breathe, the more you can release. I want you to scan your body for any echoes of stress, tension, worries or anxiety. And maybe that's in muscles in the neck or the shoulders, tightness in the gut, tension in the jaw or the forehead. And notice that when you take those long, slow, deep inward breaths, it feels like you're breathing in something resourceful that is melting away that tension, that anxiety. So feel your jaw loosening, the muscles in your forehead starting to loosen and smooth, neck and shoulder just feeling like the tension is melting. As I want you to imagine a villa in Spain. But I want you to imagine floating there in a giant bubble, maybe hovering over the villa, seeing a patio, seeing a pool, maybe seeing the beach and the ocean, and allow this bubble to gently ease you there into a garden that feels safe and familiar. The bubble is something you can now walk through, looking back and seeing the bubble is still there. And I want you to imagine finding the most comfortable chair possible there in that garden. Even if it's a chair that's normally inside, just imagine it outside there in the garden, placing your body on that chair. And just imagine sinking into the comfort of that chair, feeling like the sunshine is melting away any stress. As you breathe in and breathe out even deeper, I'm going to start counting downwards from 10 to 1. And with each downward number, I want you to imagine feeling even deeper relaxed, that you have permission to let go of anything not serving you. So 10, focus on your forehead, breathing in that resourceful feeling of relaxation and releasing that tension in your outward breath. 9, now focusing on your jaw. Just imagine almost like a hammock between two palm trees being like your jaw between your ears. Just imagine it loose, relaxed, very comfortable, releasing any tension. 8, now focusing on all the muscles around your eyes, eyebrows, eyelids. Feel a wave of relaxation as you go deeper and deeper relaxed. 7, now focusing on your neck and your shoulders. Use the power of your imagination to imagine an ice cream melting under the sun. And imagine that any tension in your neck and shoulders is doing the same, just melting away. And then 6, that relaxation is flowing down your arms, all the way down to your fingers. Arms now feeling limp, loose and heavy. And then 5, just imagine as you breathe in, breathing in such a relaxed, effortless way that even your internal organs start to relax. Lungs, heart, stomach. 5 becomes 4 all the way down, diaphragm and then gut. And if the neck and the shoulders is where stress can be stored, feel that the gut is where anxiety is stored. And now it's time to let that go. To feel a release of that anxiety. And then 3, feel that relaxation going down into your legs. Legs now feeling completely relaxed. 3 becomes 2 down into your calf muscles, and then 1 down into your feet, ankles and toes. And just imagine how it would feel to be taking a dream-like sleep there on that chair, in that garden, as you allow your imagination to awaken. Allow your physical body to remain on that chair as your imagination leaves your body and steps into that bubble. And I want you to imagine floating up in that bubble, going all the way back in time to what we can call the Genesis point. I want you to float back to a memory, perhaps where you were trying to solve a problem, figuring out a way to make ends meet at a time with a new child on the way. Observe the version of you back then with so much potential that was unrealized in that moment. The ideas were there, the work ethic was there, the strategy was there. But you didn't know at that point what was possible. I want you to observe a version of you that set a small, achievable goal. And that small, achievable goal was necessary for you to get going. Maybe at that Genesis point, if your goal was to make several million in a year in the very first year, you may never have got started. But I want you to see someone coming up with an idea, inspired by creativity, imagination, and passion. A belief that that version of you could create something that the world wanted and was willing to pay for. Imagine stepping into that version of you, feeling inspired, feeling courageous, feeling a wonderful sense of willing to get going. And maybe it was bravery or courage. Maybe it was a sense of deep self-belief. Or maybe it was just a thought of, I may as well do something, why not this? Tap into whatever you felt at the time. Notice how you feel, and then return to the bubble and go forwards in time and witness that version of you figuring out that by making £2,000 in a day of sales, the ramifications of that number. And maybe you see yourself in a bar, but observe the energy, the enthusiasm, the meaning attributed to that number, and then step into that version of you. Notice there was two things there that were important. An appreciation of hitting a milestone, and then a belief that that milestone could be replicated and even improved upon, that it would take your life in a different direction. I want you to get a sense that if it was possible before, it is more than possible again. And more importantly, you know all of the shortcuts and all of the pitfalls. So hold on to that thought of feeling inspired and feeling like you're building momentum. Feel that momentum, the enthusiasm, the what's next, and return to the bubble. And then go forwards perhaps a year or two. And I want you to see yourself perhaps no longer in the garden, but in the villa, but at a different time. See yourself sitting on a sofa, celebrating a huge milestone. Perhaps achieving £1 million of revenue in a single period of 12 months. And notice who you were with, your facial reactions, perhaps even what you said. And I want you to get a sense that there is a quick celebration and acknowledgement, but no complacency. I want you to see that version of you eager to move onwards and upwards, and then step into that version of you, feeling that milestone was way beyond your original ideas at the point when the idea was formed. But in this moment, it was real. It was real and could lead to even bigger things. So then I want you to imagine tapping into that feeling of hunger, desire to grow, expand, to build. Move back in the bubble, go forward. And I want you to imagine seeing yourself in a warehouse. At the very point where certain transactions go through, and you see the moment where £1 million is achieved in a single month. I want you to see yourself embodying the idea that anything is impossible. Anything is possible for you. And I want you to see that sense of deep conviction and belief. And I want you to imagine stepping into that version of you the very second you hit the 1 million in a month threshold. Remember where you were, remember how you feel, and tap into that resourceful state and locate that feeling in your body. It may be a thought in your mind or a feeling in your chest, a sense of deep belief. Anything is possible. So feel that, believe that. And just imagine in that moment that a trigger is being created. Remember how you were breathing in that moment, standing in that moment. And I want you to imagine placing a colourful shape in the very location of where you feel that possibility. Make the shape bigger, three-dimensional. Allow it to move, glow. And accept the idea that in that moment, anything was possible. As you leave that memory, take that glowing shape with you, a deep belief, a conviction. You are evidence of exceeding your wildest expectations. Go back in the bubble and go forwards in time to the very day, the day that you generated £290,000 of revenue in a single day. Remember the exact location, where you were, what you were doing. Just observe. Observe that moment with a deep conviction that that was achieved when hundreds of victories were compounded. That is a pinnacle, not a starting point for any future success. Step into that version of you. Imagine perhaps holding a phone, seeing the notifications come through, remembering the sound of those notifications. Perhaps even looking at a dashboard, evaluating what this incredible milestone means, the best ever day of revenue, and link it to your creativity, work ethic, strategy, and feel that if it was possible then, it's possible again. And then leave that moment carrying all of those resourceful emotions with you. Return to the bubble and go forwards in time to a more difficult period. I want you to remain in the bubble and imagine being in the bubble, and the bubble is traveling at the same speed as a Mercedes. Imagine looking through the bubble and through the window and seeing you having an important phone conversation. I want you to imagine how it would feel to have such empathy for that person without being that person in this moment. I want you to get a sense of deep perspective, that things change, that unexpected variables outside of your control can impact the things that you've built. I want you to observe what happens like you're seeing yourself as a stranger, not in your body, just witnessing it. And I want you to get a sense that you're extracting the wisdom from the moment, but none of the emotions. You can empathize, but not experience. And follow the car journey until the call ends. And then that bubble goes forwards in time. Perhaps to a moment where around 7 p.m. you're seeing yourself that's been holding it together. Suddenly just cry, connect with yourself, release that suppressed emotion, but not be in your body, just observe. No emotion, because you're the observer. As you get that sense of perspective, wisdom, perhaps even a deep sense that it's possible that something good comes from bad times. Go forwards in time where you're observing a version of you that's telling important people what's happened. See how you delivered that. Their reactions. But you're not in your body, just watching, observing. In the bubble, you're invisible. You can see what happens, but it's not happening to you. Feel that objective perspective. See the logistical elements and maybe even make an evaluation of accountability, responsibility. Observe someone that's doing everything they could. There might even be a sense of support, acknowledgement. Move forwards in time to a moment where you see the moment where you're emailing staff something maybe they suspected or dreaded, but now it becomes real. See the moments around that time, but you're the observer. Appreciate that it was a stressful time, a traumatic time, a time of loss, but also that led to strengthened relationships, perhaps even a time of physical healing. Good things can come from bad moments. Take that perspective, gratitude and wisdom, and go forwards in time and observe how you deal with the logistical element of a warehouse that was being used, no longer being used. But you're seeing yourself like you're someone else. See what you were wearing, what you were doing, how you were managing things. Take all the perspective, all the wisdom, but none of the pain. I want you to get a sense that you're wiser now than you've ever been. So I want you to climb back into that bubble and now visit a future. And that future might be days or weeks in the future. I want you to see a new Genesis block. A point in time where you had a solution to a problem. Knowing that it could lead to big things, but starting small. See a version of you where progress is more important than perfection. A pragmatic, steady approach. Maybe all the research that's already been done is now implemented in some way. And if you can see that Genesis point of something new, something that applies all of the wisdom that you've gleaned, let me know by nodding your head. And then go forwards in time. Go forwards in time, maybe weeks or months. A significant financial milestone in that new business. See yourself smiling. See yourself with the enthusiasm, the optimism back. See that you have found that new creative outlet. See yourself as someone that is a modern alchemist. Instead of lead into gold, it's ideas, imagination. Converting that imagination into commercial success. And see how in this timeline you get to build on all of those things that worked in the past. But see that you're handling things differently now. Those big financial days, revenue is being siphoned into different accounts. There is a lifeboat, a war chest, a fortress being built to mean that the pain of the past is not possible in this new future. See yourself going even further into the future. Victory after victory, success after success. And I want you to see this version of you with boundaries. Boundaries to protect relationships with those that you love the most. Not needing to deal with every problem and firefight every issue. See yourself with the financial success, but with the boundaries to keep you safe. And if you could imagine that future, let me know by nodding your head. And then I want you to go forwards in a future, maybe months, but possibly years, where you eclipse the pinnacle of any previous success. Maybe financial, but maybe emotional, maybe freedom. I want you to go to that future where you observe exceeding your wildest expectations and certainly exceeding the achievements of the past. And in that point in time, I want you to see a version of you that became stronger through the adversity, wiser through the adversity. And if you can see that future version of you that became stronger rather than broken, wiser, more confident, let me know by nodding your head. And then just for a moment, step into that future version of you. Step into the moment, giving you a taste of future success linked to all of the things you value most. Feel a glowing resource, maybe a shape or a color glowing within you, feeling that perhaps the past happened for a reason, and the reason was to get you to this place in your future. And then step back into the bubble and return back to a garden in Spain where you see yourself on a comfortable chair. Step into that version of you with a feeling that you've disassociated from the trauma of the past, but keeping all of the knowledge, and that you've rekindled an enthusiasm, optimism, and imagination, that your hunger is returning. As you take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your nose. Wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes. That's it. Just return to the moment. 1, 2, 3, waking up. 4, 5, 6, more alert. 7, 8, open your eyes, open your eyes. 9, 10, wide awake, wide awake, wide awake.